Good evening to all present here, dear students and faculty. This is the fifth lecture on the series of talks on awareness on COVID-19. And today we are continuing with Dr. Vidyaa Hari, who spoke 3 days back, and today she is again here to talk on how to help society during COVID-19. So may I request Dr. Vidyaa Hari to take over and then proceed with the topic of presentation on how to help society during COVID-19. Welcome, Dr. Vidyaa.
Good evening, friends, and welcome to another amazing session. I'm sure you're all going to go have a very nice session today. And before I, start this session, I want to thank Dr. Shankaran. He's been my friend for over 14 years. Along with that, I want to thank Dr. John, Dr. Selvaraj, and a lot of friends who I've made over these series. And it's a pleasure coming back to all of you again. So with no further ado, I would like to start my presentation. Just give me a thumbs up or something if you can see my presentation. Friends, are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so good evening once again. And today we're going to talk about how to help society during COVID-19 crisis. I'm sure you all understand what this pandemic is all about. And I'm sure that this lecture is just a part of, the number of series of lectures you've been having on COVID-19 crisis. So I just want to, probably I'll take you through the first few slides, which will harp on the basics of COVID-19 and why its importance to today's topic. I'm not going into details of COVID-19 today. And then I will talk to you about, coping strategies and how we can help society. Okay. I'm sure most of you are students here and you must be thinking, I myself a student, I've not started learning. How can I help society? So I'm confident at the end of this lecture, each of us can understand that all of us can contribute towards a larger mankind. Okay. So with those few words, I would definitely like to thank IDP of Tanuvas and the entire team behind this beautiful presentation. And I would also like to thank Dr. Shankaran. I guess, it's so beautiful. I just love the setup of this session. Really a wonderful welcome, the kind of brochure they have made. It's so beautiful even to look at, and even the music behind. So thank you so much, whoever has been behind this. And let's get back to the subject itself. So COVID-19 and its impact on society. I guess first we need to understand what is the impact. Most of us have understood about the common symptoms of COVID-19, which is cough, fever, shortness of breath, sore throat, headache, running nose, tiredness, muscle pain, diarrhea, loss of smell, loss of taste. And all these things, if you can understand that, either we have experienced or our relatives or our friends have experienced, or we have seen people who have experienced. So now it's going to get into people who have never experienced all these symptoms but have got vaccinated. Then there'll be a set of people who have experienced this, but not maybe to the severity of going into a medical fraternity in terms of a hospital setup. And they were home quarantined and they have got out, and a few of them have even gone through the vaccination. And then you might have people who have gone to the, medical setup, undergone a kind of a rigorous medical intervention and then come back home safe, and they would also have experienced this. And then you have a set of people who are not with us anymore. So this is going to be a larger amount of category, how you can classify people who have gone through these symptoms, either self-experienced or experienced through their loved ones. So what was all these waves about? So we understood the first wave was on physical health crisis. The second wave was on economic crisis. And the third wave is going to be about the mental health crisis. So why are all these lectures actually held for a longer period of time? If you see that, it is because, the mental health of all of us, you, me, everybody around us, we have been affected. And not only as individuals we being affected, but we have also been affected as a kind of a community. We have been affected. And you understand that the third wave is going to definitely have an impact on all the chronic conditions. And the fourth wave, if you look at it, it is going to be more on the psychic trauma, the mental illness, the economic injury, and the burnout. All of us are going to be really fed up because, we have not had a normal social life. And if you understand man as a person, man is a social animal. So if you're not, socially actually interacting with people, it is like a blow into our basic existence itself, right? And people are also saying the third wave has got something to do with children. And so more, it is very understandable because above 18, everybody is getting vaccinated in a short period of time. So the rest who will not be vaccinated would be the kids. So, these are the challenges which we have in front of us. So the mental health symptoms since the COVID-19 outbreak, if you look at it, so you have a lot of them, but more emotionally, people are exhausted. That's around 53.8%. There's increased sadness into day-to-day life. People are getting more irritated or more frustrated. They're becoming more aggressive in their kind of internal behavior. Maybe you might have not seen them that way previously. They feel generally more confused. And then you have increased insomnia, which is lack of sleep, increased anger, and increased feelings of guilt in the sense like I could have done something better, or I could have been careful, things like that. And younger adults, I'm sure most of you here in this lecture are younger adults, are more likely to report symptoms of anxiety and or depressive disorder during this COVID-19 period. And this would be the age group. See, the younger people, that is 18 to 24, will be most affected because, see, you would be thinking, oh my God, what my future is all about going to be, from now onwards. 25 to 49, they would have sort of, settled in life. So they are only looking in terms of, do I have enough to move on in life? 50 to 64, they would have already had retirement plans by now. And above 65 will be least affected because they're already at home only. They are not people who are going out. So they have got into a kind of a normal, their normal life is still the same. So that is how we are all going to be affected. And how do we know how we need to prevent coronavirus? We understand we have to wash hands, use soap, don't shake or say namaste, and then use a disinfectant, avoid any physical contact, keep safe distance. And all this was even put in the brochure. So I don't think I need to say, and I guess we have got an overdose of how to prevent things, right? And then came the vaccination wave where we needed to understand what is the vaccine you need to take. And many debates were on those. And then, of course, they said, even if you're vaccinated, you should continue with the prevention protocols. So there was no way you can, there is not, this is called the new normal, if I have to say, right? So all of us have to cover our nose and mouth with a mask, stay away from people whom you don't live with, stay away from crowds, any functions, try to avoid it, wash your hands, clean and disinfect frequently, any touched surfaces. So what did W Health Organization or the World Health Organization, what did they say? They said some coping mechanisms with the stress. So it is very normal to feel sad, stressed, confused, scared, or angry during a crisis. And talking to people you trust can help. That is, you can contact your friends or family. And if you must stay at home, maintain a very healthy lifestyle. See, staying at home does not mean you can get up whatever time you want and not have a bath, or or not get into a proper routine. You need to set up a routine, because that will bring you a lot of discipline, and it will also give you a sense of fulfillment of what you got out of a day. So you should include some form of an exercise, have a proper diet, sleep at proper time, and have social contact with loved ones at home, or by email or phone, or any media if you think which is going to be useful. Next is, don't smoke or use alcohol or get into any kind of drug abuse to deal with your emotions. Now, this is definitely for people who already have the habit, or people who are getting into that habit. Because if you feel very overwhelmed, talk to some health worker or a counselor, have a plan where to go, what to do, and how to seek help for any physical or mental health needs if required. And it is always better to get the facts. Why? Because when you get the facts, the acceptance of those facts are much better, rather than getting opinions of people, right? And gather information that will help you accurately determine your risk, so that you can take reasonable precautions. And today, as healthcare providers, like, see, I'm a dentist basically, so I have patients coming into my practice, and I can say now for the last 4 to 5 months, I've started getting patients who have been affected with COVID-19, or who are going through that crisis. So we need to understand that we can help these people much better. See, when you are aware and when you try to tell the healthcare provider, it becomes much more easy. Imagine if you're not doing that now, that is going to become a problem, because you don't know, or you don't want to reveal, and the doctor does not know. That is when the entire problem is going to come. So gather information that will help you accurately determine your risk, so that you can take reasonable precautions. And definitely, if you have any credible source, if you want to see, then you can go into the World Health Organization website, or any local or state public health agency. Next is, definitely limit your worry and agitation by lessening the time which you spend on any kind of media. The reason is, when you are spending and constantly exposing yourself to all these media coverage, as in statistics, what happens is it sorts of upsets your mindset, and then coping with it becomes very difficult. And definitely draw on skills you have used in the past, that will help you to help manage this crisis, for which people have generally got into the hobbies which they left when they were young. They did not find time, or they kept saying that time was not there. Today, since they have time with them, they gone back to that, so that it gives them kind of solace or happiness going through these challenging times. So I know I'm talking to most of you who are veterinarians. So, I thought I would put some stories today of animals, just to help us understand the connect, right? So this is the first story I have for the day, and it is Move with Faith and Hope. Okay. So this is a story of a deer who's in the last stage of delivery and pregnancy, and she's going to deliver any moment. So she's trying to find a place in the forest, and I'm not sure if most of you know the story. So this deer goes, and she goes near to a river, so that in case she feels thirsty, she can she's just finding a safe place where she can deliver her fawn. And then at that moment when she's about to deliver, she sees the sky. It's really dark, and she can see that suddenly hears a lightning, and that lightning goes and hits against the forest trees, and the fire is getting done. At the same time, she's also looking on the other side, and she sees a hunter, and she has understood that the hunter is, aiming at her. And because she's about to deliver, she's not able to move herself, and she's really getting scared as to how she's going to handle the situation. One side the fire, and the other side the hunter. If this was just not enough, she also saw a very hungry lion approaching her. And now she knew she is definitely going to be a prey to the hungry lion. So with so much of troubles and challenges around her, she is like so confused. She's thinking, oh my God, how do I handle this? One side is the lightning, and then the forest is getting into fire. There's a hunter, then there is this lion. So that moment pain, my first job is to deliver my baby and give it a safe entry into this world. So she takes a deep breath and delivers the fawn. So when you have moments of choice in life, when you're confronted by negative thoughts and any possibilities around you, the best thing is to overcome that rather than getting it overwhelmed onto you. So you should be able to take a deep breath and see what is in your control and focus on that and not get distracted by anything else. So if each of us have something to look forward for, that is what you need to concentrate on, and don't get dimmed by the news which you hear from this side, and do what you can. Like the deer could only deliver the fawn at that moment, each of us have a duty. So just let us do our duty, and the rest which is not in your hands, I'm sure all of us need to leave it to the Almighty. Why? Because once you trust in God and move forward with faith on the Creator and hope, I'm sure God knows what is good for us and will never disappoint us or desert us in times of need. So this is what the fawn, the deer did. So after she delivered, what happened? She saw the dark clouds. The dark clouds started giving rain. The rain put off the fire in the forest. The hunter's aim hit the lion. The lion died, and she was able to deliver the fawn comfortably. So with this, we can understand that whenever we have a lot of challenges, you just have to address those challenges, and after that, you're good to go. You can absolutely think about what is your job amidst that and just focus on that, and whatever is in your hands, completely work on it. So what can I do to cope with the effects of COVID-19 quarantine? So if you're all quarantined and at home, then these are the things which you can do. I'm talking about each one of us. Sedentary behavior and low levels of physical activity can have negative effects on the health, well-being, and the quality of life of individuals. So it is always better that we definitely have a kind of a healthy lifestyle. Next, self-quarantine can also lead to additional stress and challenge the mental health of all of us, all the citizens. So we need to understand that this is just a passing cloud. We are all going to come out victorious, and we need to just have coping mechanisms. Physical activity and relaxation techniques can be valuable tools to help you remain calm and continue to protect your health during this time. So all this we have always been telling about the dose, right? All the feel-good hormones will come on when you start, concentrating on your physical well-being. And World Health Organization recommends around 150 minutes of moderate to intensity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity per week, or a combination of both. So if you actually divide this into, say, a 7-day program, it's hardly around 20 to 25 minutes. So if you can really work out for half an hour a day, you're good to go, right? So now we come to the second aspect of our program, which is COVID-19 and the crisis management. So we understand that through this crisis, we need to save lives, we need to protect the poor, we need to have ensuring sustainable business growth, and we should be ready to rebuild ourselves to make ourselves a better person, or we need to together rebuild a lot of industries together. So if I can divide this into 3 stages, one is the relief stage, then is the restructuring stage, and the third is the resilient recovery these stage. So in each of these stage, if I have to start saving life, you will have the public health emergency, then restructuring the health systems, and then you have the pandemic ready health systems. With protecting the poor and the vulnerable, you have social emergency, and that is where most of the people are working towards right now, restoring human capital and building equity and inclusion. Next is ensuring sustainable business growth and job creation. Now, this is another thing, as we spoke about the economical crisis, we need to understand that economics is an emergency right now, and firm reconstruction and debt resolution has to be done, and green businesses growth with job creation. So I can tell you that, this is very important. As much as possible, can we get into some ways where we can help people get economically sound? So this is another aspect where all of us can work together. And rebuilding better, that's strengthening policies in institutions and investments. And I'm sure all of them have started working on this front right from the word go. Each of the colleges which they had the offline courses have gone into online. You are yourself attending one of those online programs just to see that, you are all abreast with whatever is happening around the world. You're still having your classes going on from morning. And in addition to that, you're also getting a kind of a mental makeup so that you can face your future better. So in this, you have maintained line of sight to long-term goals. Then you have policy and institutional reforms and investments to rebuild us better. So if I look at how can we now keep the wheel moving, let's start with staying safe, right? So obviously, the soaps, the ventilators, and the masks and the scrub, and we need to keep going, which means you need to have a time, a routine in your everyday life where you are going to do your constructive work. And in case you're traveling to work, you better have a safe transport and keep working, whether it is home or schooling or anything. You have a bandwidth of how you're going to keep working. Next is internally keep calm, be very informed of what's happening, relieve your stress and entertain yourself in whichever possible way, and then stay solvent, which means we are getting into financial aids, donations and refunds, and stay supplied, wherein you get the shopping done. Right now, everything is through internet. You can get that, or you can even help people with those in need. So this is so very important. So with that, we come to the third part, or the main part of today's program, which is called, how do I be a contributor towards the society? So again, as I told you, I'm going to have a lot of stories today. So the other story is going to be a story of a pig and a cow. So once upon a time, the pig meets its friend cow, and the pig asks the cow, why is it that you are worshipped where other people don't like me? They feel I'm very dirty, and they don't like me. Why is it that way? And when the pig is asking that to the cow says, probably because I am very kind to them, I'm very gentle with them. I give them milk, I give them through the milk I give them cream, butter, curd, and a lot of things. And but I'm not I'm very friendly with them, and that is why probably people like me more. At that moment, the pig says, come on, even I give a lot of things to man. I give them bacon and ham, and I also give them bristles. I'm sure if you're an artist, most of the artists' bristles are made from pig's hair. And then I also, my feet are used for making pickles. So I am also giving. At that time, the cow says, you're right, my dear friend, you also give. But the bigger difference is I give when I am alive, and you give when you are dead. So let's give when we are all living, my dear friends. So as we live our everyday life, we should know to be like the cow, to give as we live. That is the most important lesson we need to understand. So as Buddha said, the value of life is not based on how long we live, but how much we contribute to others in our society. So this is exactly what the essence of today's topic is, right? So how much can we contribute? So what is the importance of helping others? Let us first understand what it does to us. So why did I have to put the first and the second part? Is because for you to understand that when you start volunteering your time, your money or your energy to help others, that makes the world a better place, and it also makes you a better person. And studies indicate that the very act of giving back to the community boosts your happiness, your health, and your sense of well-being. So when we saw all the mental status and what it can do to people, the moment you start or you choose to start giving it to people, your personal mental health will become better. So even though there is so much going around in the society, you can still choose to help others. So when you look at that, you can, have lots of options. So I'm just going to share a few of the options which can help you become a volunteer in helping the community with whatever things you can. It could be some assisted work, rescue work, support, give them hope, work with a team. You can work individually, and there'll be a lot of mutual care, aid, respect, and we're all working towards a bigger mission. And all this together is going to give you a very satisfying life herewith. So this is what Dalai Lama said. A real change in society must start from an individual initiative. So each of us are an individual, and as an individual, we can cause that change. And all of us have it within us to actually cause the change. So do things for people, not because of who they are or what they can do in return, but because of who you are. This is what Harold said. So it's very important. Don't think at this time, oh, what will I get? What will be my return of investment? Or what can they do for me? Don't think like that, because there is a person above all of us, God, who's watching our deeds. And definitely, he will bless us for our whatever we are trying to do. So how other ways can you contribute? Now let's look at that. First, pay attention to people around you and what you can do to make their lives a little easier. So I'm sure you might be living in a flat or a house. See around you how you can help people. Next, community service is one of the best ways to improve the lives of others. There are many people working towards a lot of community work, so you can choose to be one of them and join any volunteering group. If you need any information on all these, you can always get back to me. Next is offer kindness proactively. Now, what do you mean by proactive? Proactive means nobody is prompting you to do something. You are doing it out of yourself. You see a person who is visually challenged and he's trying to cross the road. You have, very little time to reach college, maybe. But then you chose to just hold on to a second, hold this person's hand, safely cross them towards the other side, and then get back to your work. But when you go back the rest of the day, you can pat on your back and say, hey, I did a good job. I feel very happy when I did it. Right? It's not that that person is going to do something, but maybe, he will have you in his prayers. So this is so beautiful, and you have to do it proactively. And this can be even at home. You could help your mother, your father, your sibling, anybody, and this can be proactively, no hinting or prompting from people. Next is, as a student, when I think, how can you contribute? Definitely, you can comfort people in grief. How do you comfort? Just pick up a call and just lend your ears. Just listen to them, and that's more than enough. They'll be so glad you made a call. I can tell you, umpteen number of things which I have experienced. Maybe even this 1 hour or one day will not be enough. So many a times when people give me a call, or when I call up people and I talk to them, it is so very rewarding when people try to share a part of their life and they help you understand things better. So when you just call them and talk to them, for that moment you're lifting up their mind. So always comfort people in grief. all you can do is just be a good listener. Nobody wants any suggestions at that point of time, but just getting a call from your loved ones would mean the world for them. Entertainment. I'm sure you're all into media, and you would have heard a lot of groups. I mean, a lot of singing groups, dancing groups, and a lot of them just, doing things and trying to collect some donation and give it to the needy. And they're just trying to entertain people. So you could entertain people if you are very good in some musical instrument or some form of a creative art. You can do that and post it. I mean, people would just love it. I'm sure all of you have your own friends group, or you must be having your family groups, and you can put even jokes for that matter to make people laugh. Is also a very nice way of how you can contribute. Next is, of course, if you have anything, any unused items, and you think there is somebody else who might need it more than you can donate your unused items to them. You can volunteer your time. You can have probably some students who are struggling to study, must be your juniors, or maybe it could be some of your relatives' children. You can just offer, if you're good in science, you can say, I can teach him, I can make it simpler for him. And you could volunteer your time so that you could make yourself a better person. You can donate to a cause. Now, this I don't know if I can say to a student to donate, but nevertheless, once you start earning, probably you can start donating, because right now taking money from your parents and giving, I'm sure that does not come into your ways of contribution, right? Knowledge sharing. I'm sure all of us are reaching beyond our comfort zone, and we are sharing our knowledge, and that is also a way of contributing to the world. Next is spiritual literacy. Many a times we understand that, when in times of distress, the one person all of us look forward for, or, just turn our attention to, is God. You can call it in any which way or any which religion you want, but the whole understanding is there is a supernatural power. And when we start following or reading such spiritual learnings, that is a kind of calmness which comes into our mind, and we are able to deal with issues much better. Say thank you, even that makes a lot of difference to people. And gift of health. Now, if you are doing exercise, you can start giving gift of health to people, and that's what I did. I started a group called Get In Get Fit, where every day we contribute towards the health of people, and all this digitally and free of cost. So this is how you can start ways of contribution. And skill sharing. Whatever skills you're good at, you can start sharing it with like-minded people, and these could be ways as which how you can contribute. So as Beth said, we all have a responsibility to use our talents to help others. So if you think you're good at something, see that goodness if you can actually start sharing with people. And what will all these donations support? It could probably support a well-being of a family. It could empower people, maybe a person who has lost their family or earning member. You could empower them. You could probably give them money so that it could be useful for their healthcare needs. Clothes could be donated so that many people who are, absolutely hapless, they could get it. You could donate food and donate education. So as I told you in the media, there are a lot of things coming in this, and that is all what your donation will support. So this is what a beautiful saying is, like, no matter how rich, talented, or great you think you are, how you treat people ultimately tells it all. So you should know how to treat people well. And this is another beautiful story of a parable. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about it. It's called the parable of the God, man, and the suitcase. So let's listen to that. So here is a man, and he's almost dying. And as he dies, he is walking into heaven. And as he's walking, he's seeing God with the suitcase. So as God is approaching towards him, he is asking God, God, what is there in the suitcase? What is it that you brought for me? So he says, nothing. So the man really thinks, oh, you want me to carry something from this world and go? So he says, God says, whatever was with you in this life was owned by earth, my dear child. So there is nothing you can carry back. So when he hears there, he says, but I spent all my life on earth. I mean, why can't I carry? So then God answers. He says, my dear son, all your memories, it belong to time. All your talents, it belong to the circumstance. All your friends belong to the path and they travel that with you. Your wife and your children, they belong to your heart. Your body, it belonged to your dust, and your soul, that belonged to me. So there is nothing you can carry back from this earth. And this man felt so bad. He started crying and crying. He said, then what was my life worth it? There was nothing I can carry in that suitcase back. And he says, the God says, you can carry your moments because every moment you lived was yours. So that is why people say, think good and do good. So this is the story of the God, man, and the suitcase. And that is all you can carry from this world. So whatever you have, as we told before in the pig and the cow story, you should give when you're alive. That is the most important. So let's see a series of understandings of how we can contribute. No one is useless in this world who lightens the burdens of the other. So I'm sure we all can lend ourselves and lighten the burdens of one another. There is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. So this is the time when we need to hold hands and lift each other up so that all of us can work or walk towards, a better mankind. When we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, every one of us is blessed. You have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never pay you back. I told you a story of just crossing the road for a visually compromised person. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and He will reward them for what they have. So this is what God does. I mean, there is a better, bigger person trying to really validate what you have done. And by living thoughtfully and honoring God with your words and actions, you can inspire someone to help themselves by doing the same. So, there are so many quotes like this, and you can just keep reading them because it sort of brings a kind of a tranquility into your mind. One such book, if you want to read, is called The Five Love Languages. This is a book by Gary Chapman, and it's an amazing book, and it tells how to express heartfelt commitment to your mate. My dear friends, don't think this is love in terms of only a husband and wife love. This is a love in terms of any individual. And you have a lot of audio books when you Google this book's name called The Five Love Languages. And I'm just going to tell you or take you through a glimpse of it. So there are five love languages. So it could be words of affirmation. And how do you communicate it? You encourage people, you affirm it, you appreciate and listen very actively to them. You take actions, as in you send them an unexpected note, a text, or a card, and you should avoid not recognizing or appreciating any effort. If you found somebody do something nice, take the time out and appreciate them. Next love language is physical touch. I know in today's time, physical touch is something which none of us can really think about, but nevertheless, this is a non-verbal usage of the body language and touch to show love. Uh, I'm sure all of us have felt this. When you just touch an animal also, whether it's a dog or a cat, your loved pet animals, and you just touch the way it, hugs and kisses and cuddles you. Imagine if that is what an animal can do, what a man can do, right? And a physical neglect of a physical touch can also be termed as an abuse, my dear friends. So that is one of the love languages. Next is receiving gifts. Receiving gift, again, please don't get me wrong, it does not only mean money or money related gifts. It is that thoughtfulness, and when you can make somebody a priority in your life, and it could be a thoughtful gift or gesture, or just expressing your gratitude when you get it. And the gift receiving, and when you give and you receive, it should be with a lot of love and energy. So unenthusiastic gift receiving or forgetting any special occasions is again things which you should avoid. Next is quality time. Uninterrupted and focused conversations is very important. Even imagine two friends talking, and when one person is talking to the other person is just scrolling on the cell phone. So which means the person is not listening to the other person, or they are not giving a proper kind of an attention. So you should always see that your eye contact, your when you look at a person and talk, see you're seeing that eye, that kinds of gives a kind of an attention, and then you try to spend time. And one-on-one time is very important. So this is the beautiful time when you can actually sit with your spouse, talk, sit with your brother or sister and talk, nothing related to, it could be very small talks, it could be fun talks, it could be anything, but quality time is very important. And create special moments, take walks or do some things with your partner. And things you need to avoid is any distraction while spending time together, and a longer time without one-on-one time. And acts of service, now this is something which our topic is all about. Let them know you're wanting to help, so that they can lighten the load for the other person. It could also mean like volunteering at home to say, Amma, I will make breakfast today, or Amma, I'll make dinner today. And you can help your parents in the everyday household chores, because I'm sure most of the houses have stopped the servants, so it's very difficult for everything to be loaded on one person. We can all start sharing. And again, lacking follow through on small and large tasks. So when you look at these 5 love languages, there'll be one love language which is very, very, very important for you as a person. Similarly, when you look at your brother or mother or somebody, they will have one of these love languages as a prominent love language for them. And when you satisfy that love language for them, that is when they feel very contented with their life. So one person might feel very sad because they don't have quality time. So if I have to summarize this slide, I will say fill the love tank of the person who is very important to you. And you can write it on probably 5 or 10 people's names whom you think they are important for you in your life, and start reaching out to them. Start with home. They say charity begins at home, and the entire topic today is about giving. So why not do it at home first, then probably your next circle, and then the next circle, and then keep spreading it so that it has a positive ripple effect. So this is another saying by Abhishek Kumar, who says, love is the most powerful healing energy. Everything you do with love spreads healing. So feel it, be it, and spread it. And I'm sure all of you know that the World Kindness Day is on November 13th, which is, it is commemorated all over the world right now. And kindness is a very selfless act. If God has been kind enough to give us the things we need, we must be kind enough to others and render help in whatever way we can. And as Lord Buddha said, a generous heart, a kind speech, and a life of service and compassion are the things that renew humanity. And if you think you need to really change mankind, then this is what you need to have: a generous heart, a very nice, kind speech, and a life of service and compassion. So kindness is the best form of humanity. Being just kind to people makes a lot of difference. And kindness is an investment, and good karma is the return. So what you do and what you sow, so shall you reap. If you're sowing kindness, if you're sowing joy, if you're sowing happiness around, that is what is going to come back to you. So always keep this in mind, that you're investing on intangibles. Next is the importance of smile. I'm sure you must be thinking, how can I contribute smile, right? But can you imagine when you smile, the opposite person smiles back at you? Smiling can make you look younger. Smiling can make you look thinner. Smiling elevates your mood and creates a sense of well-being. Smiling induces more pleasure in the brain, more than a chocolate. Even a forced smile can lead to a mood boost. And smiles can predict fulfillment in marriages. Smiling makes you seem courteous, likable, and competent. And a span of a person's smile can predict his lifespan. And smiling is contagious, my dear friends. So even if you're just spreading smiles, it's going to go a long way as a student, as how you can do. And a smile is a curve that sets everything straight. So if you want to really win over somebody's heart, just smile and spread happiness. Smile not because life has full of reasons to smile, but because your smile is itself a reason for many others to smile. And this is something which I do very much, and I carry my smile everywhere and I go. I think that becomes a very important aspect of anybody's life. You don't need a reason to help people. If you really ask me, you don't have to have a pandemic as a reason or any other thing as a reason to help people. However, what you can do is, in many religious beliefs, it is like, at least 1/3 or 1/10 of your earning is donated to charity. So you can start, probably you can do some work, and if you get some pocket money, you can put 1/10 of it or 1/3 of it, depending on how you want, into a piggy bank and start your means of, putting it for a cause. And then you can collect all that money and then you can put it to good use. And this would go a long way. And as John F. Kennedy said, if a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. So this is very important. So there is also called a Joy of Giving Week. As Mother Teresa said, it's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. So that is the joy of giving. So how do you describe yourself helping people in need? How do you feel, or what makes you different? Many people have said when they give, they just love helping others. It gives them great joy. It shows that they really care, and it's a part of their service, and helping others is sometimes their innate nature. Arthur Ashe said, from what we get, we can make a living, but from what we give makes a life. So that is very important. Are we making a living or are we making a life? So many a times you would have seen people donating food or grains as charity, and so that people can, have a better way of eating. And happiness does not come from what we get, but from what we give. And you can either celebrate the joy of giving with a smile. You've seen many people give shoes, give clothes, offer free education, give meals, and sit and teach people. So you can, as students, you can choose to give in any which way and bring joy to a classroom. You can donate books, toys, games with the Joy of Giving Week. And this can be even in your own, classrooms. You can all choose and do a collective way of getting into some kind of a program with the help of your teachers. And then, you can donate things to a larger cause. You can also sponsor an orphan child's education, because many children are getting orphaned right now. You can support people with clothes and groceries, education, and you could also help the physically handicapped. Imagine how they are really trying to cope up with this crisis. When we have everything with us, why are we cribbing? There are many people who are more, in need of what they have. Now, I want to say thank you to a rare few individuals in my life who have listened without judgment, who have spoken without prejudice, who have helped me without entitlement, understood without pretension, and loved me without condition. So when you give, don't think you are at an upper hand and the person who's receiving is at a lower hand. Always think that God gave you an opportunity to help people. And that is why there's a famous saying which says, when the right hand gives, even the left hand should not know. Which means that when you give, never think that you have it. Don't put a pride into it. Be a lot more humble and put humility into it. Only that would give you a better understanding of the entire universe. And thank you for being a ray of sunshine even on my darkest days. Now, this is a statement which generally people say when they receive. So when you're receiving something, you can say, "Oh, thank you for being my ray of sunshine." And this is the Joy of Giving Week. It is from September 27th to October 3rd. And I'm sure if you think about, starting some charity in terms of a collective way, you would get something ready by September so that you can have a joy of giving too. And as far as coronavirus is concerned, I'm sure we are going to win and we will win. That should be the attitude. And to give happiness to others is a great act of charity. Another story to almost end today's session. So here is a man who is going to a grocery store, and he's completely filling his cart with all the kinds of groceries which he needs. And as he's coming back to his car, he sees this a small child who's looking at him. Now, looking at the child, he realizes that the child is hungry, the child has not had a bath for a longer period of time, and this child is totally in tatters. And, he knows for sure that the child will come up to him and probably, beg him for some money. However, as a man, we sometimes are in two moods, right? One mood is when you think, okay, you want to give something, and another mood is like, no, I mean, I'm done for the day. I'm not in that mood to give today. All of us have gone through this. I mean, if we are saying we have not gone through this, we are lying to each other. So this man, that particular day, he was not in a mood to give it to that small child. But however, as he went to the car, he opened his, the back of the car, put on the groceries and then closed. He felt, I think I should go and meet the child because there was some kind of a grace on that child's face. So he puts all this and then he goes close to the child and he's talking to the child. So as he's talking to the child, he is expecting that child to say, can you give me some money? Or, I'm hungry or, something like that. But the child just says, well, that's a beautiful car you have. And this man, is amazed by even that question. And he says, oh, thank you. And again, there is a huge silence. And now this man is getting so inquisitive. He wants to know, how is this child so composed and not asking or not fidgeting, not doing anything around? So then he just breaks the silence and he says, is there anything I can do for you? Do you need any help? At that moment, the child very gently looks at him and smiles. And he says, don't we all need some help? At that moment, this man thought, oh my God, what he said is so true. He spoke about a different perspective of life, a glimpse at something very beautiful. He didn't ask me for money, but he made me understand that all of us need help. So he thought maybe he does not need help to, uh, have things like buying a card or something like that. But he definitely needs help for other things in life. And he also reaches to somebody else who's at a higher level than him. And then he says, respite from our daily chaos, the only way you can look into this stone world is how you see yourself contributing to this world. So at that flash of time, he had some supernatural thing come and tell him, go minister, go to that man going to the car, and that person needs help. So he felt this small child was that minister or messenger from God who came to say that he needs help. So he said, help somebody. You're only a custodian of whatever you possess. And we come and we go from this earth. But in between what we give or what defines us is who we truly are. So don't we all need help is the question I ask you all. So each of us, we might be wherever we are, but all of us need help. So it's not wrong to ask for help. And this is the activity which I will encourage all of you to have. And are you thinking of contributing today or now? How do you think you want to reach out to the needy? Are you planning to contribute regularly? What is the amount or percentage of your earning you want to keep aside? Let's all start, my dear friends, the positive chain of giving, and I am doing my part. Are you? Is a question I ask. I'm going to play this song for all of you, and I want you all to watch it.
You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability. You are capable of anything. You can achieve any dream. Please don't limit yourself. Don't live your life limited. It's not all sadness and misery. Life's a challenge, but you will succeed. Take control of how you feel in every circumstance. Work on yourself daily. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you. You have to believe in yourself. You don't have to hide anything. You can be your true self. Don't need to follow society. Never forget that you're blessed. Give thanks for everything. Even the hard times will turn out to be blessings. No matter how you feel, you can learn from your pain. It's there to make you great. Your story's far from done. The best is yet to come. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through. What you need is all in you. When you believe, you will achieve. You can live out all your dreams. It's about time you knew the truth. You got the power all in you. To achieve, you must believe. You can live out all your dreams. Persevere, you'll make it through.
this song must have brought in a lot of belief in each one of you, that you have to believe in yourself, and everything is going to be all right. And in whatever way you think you want to choose to contribute, you can do it. And I'm sure most of you are already doing it, right? And at this point of time, since it is related to COVID-19, I would like to dedicate this lecture to all those warriors who are fighting it through and being those God-sent angels on this earth. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Shankaran, Dr. John, and all of you from Tanuvas for giving me another opportunity to connect with yourself. And this is Dr. Vidyaa Hari and my number is 98401 76088. In case you have any questions, I'll be there to take it up.
Dr. Vidya, the questions are there in the chat box.
I'm just looking into it, sir. Okay. Okay. Give me a second.
Can I read the question first?
No, I can read it. I've just seen it now. So, Selvaraj sir, I guess, is asking, ma'am, most of us are talking too much and doing less to the society, especially when one who can do it. Why? That's a tough one, because see, we need to be very proactive in this. If you're going to get prompted by people to follow, nothing can happen in life. See, we need to do certain things in life which has to come very naturally to all of us. And this would happen if we have, either seen or inculcated into our everyday life. Many a times I have seen parents for their birthdays of their children, they take the children to an orphanage and give feeding to the poor or to the needy. So this is just to understand or make the child understand that they have a better way of life, and you need to learn the art of giving. And I'm sure most parents are teaching it to their children today. So this once that kind of what we call is the moral values is instilled into a child, I'm sure they'll all grow into a bigger, better version of themselves. So, I mean, each of us should know how you can contribute. Now, a person might not be money rich, but they might, contribute in some other way. And they always say the hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray. So more than prayers, if you are serving with your own hands, you're serving physically to mankind. I mean, that is next to godliness. So, that is how I look at it. Then what's the best remedy that can be given to a community during this pandemic? I have already suggested a lot of things as I went through this lecture. First is to boost morals of people, because everybody is feeling very low at this point of time. So just spreading smiles, spreading happiness, spreading a sense of positivity, spreading kindness, understanding each other, being a little patient, being a good listener. See, all this does not cost money. I'm sure anybody sitting here can do that. And that is so simple to do. So that is how I would look at it. The second thing is, if you think you want to contribute in terms of physically, then you can, get into a lot of groups who are asking for volunteers to come and serve. And you could go and join. Any help you want, you can let me know. I can put you through some. Now, if you have money and you want to contribute, again, there is a lot of people who are asking for help that way. So it is time to reach out, and how you want to reach out, to whom you want to reach out, when you want to reach out is definitely, a kind of mindset which we need to develop. As a student community, you all could probably collect a lot of money, or you could collect clothes. I'm not talking about new clothes that you have to buy, but probably clothes which you're not wearing, and things which are in a good state of condition. You can wash them and then give it to people who are in need of it right now. Many things are going around in this world today. We are in a very protected area that we don't understand many things, but when you want to reach out, I think the doors of opportunity definitely open up. Selvaraj sir has again asked, do you think teaching the children what about contributing to society would make a difference in their future and a later part of life? Definitely, Selvaraj sir. I do a program called Inspiring Young Minds. That is another initiative which I do. It is every Saturday, 5:30 to 6:10, and anybody can join, even though I say it is for children. My target audience is 5 years to 12-year children, and I teach them moral values. I teach them because I know the third wave is going to be for the children. It's going to upset them. Already it's upsetting them, and I've already started this initiative. So if you think you want to be a part of it, just send me a text and I will include you in that group where you can get the updates from Inspiring Young Minds. So I am doing my part, and all this is free. It is not that we are charging anything to anybody. So any of you can be a part of it. So this is for anybody who has children that age, or who just want to be a part of it. I have very elderly grandparents who are attending it so that they can pass it to their grandchildren. So it is I mean, if you look at opportunities, it is endless. It is what you want to do. Next is, ma'am, love language slide is so good. Everyone should follow. That is what is required with their counseling career and experience. What is the present state in Indian family? Okay. Five Love Languages is a book which changed my life. Personally, if I look at, see, I was not a voracious reader before about, say, 12 years. In the sense, I used to read my textbooks. I'm talking dental textbooks. Okay. So I was very good. Out of 17 subjects in my college, I topped in 11. So you can understand I was a very good student. Okay. So I used to study a lot. I used to read in terms of only my career education. So because I was so much into that, probably just to lighten my mind, I used to read comics, or I'm sure all of you will be a part like me. I would read some Amar Chitra Katha or something like that, Akbar Birbal story, something to just, lighten my brain. So this is what I used to read on. But then around 12 years back, I saw this quote which says, leaders are readers. Now that hit me. I said, if I want to be a leader, then I have to be a reader. So I said, okay. And I said, let me just take this. Let me read one book a month, which makes it around 12 books in a year. So now I can tell you that is how I started. And today I have a huge library at my house. Okay. And now each of these books, when I read, it gives me a different perspective of life. So if you go through my Instagram or Facebook handle, you would see me probably a book I read, and I just, write some kind of a review, a part of that book. I don't think I have written for all the books I have read, but certain books which have touched me, I've definitely written. And Five Love Languages is one such book. If you ask me what is the book I would give to anybody who's getting married, I will say the Five Love Languages. If you ask me which is the book I will give it to anybody, who is above 15 years of age, I would give them the Five Love Languages, 15 years of age. Because the word love is not only for a husband and wife in this thing. It is between anybody. I can love anybody in this group, or whoever is attending this session. Now, out of those five love languages, I am sure when you read it, you will say, if I don't have somebody praising me also is okay. But if somebody is going to cook food for me and take care of my needs, That is something which I want. And if I don't have that person in my life, I will feel bad or I'll feel hurt. So out of those 5 love languages, you need to find out what is your love language. First thing you need to do is find out what is your love language. Next, if you're married, find out what is that love language of the spouse. Next, if you have children, and if you're, if you're staying in a joint family, you have your parents, find out as you read, you will know, oh, my mother is this, my father is this, my first child is this, my second, not all of them will have the same love language. You will see some children who love to come and hug you and, kiss you and do all that. Whereas some children, if you buy a book or a chocolate, they are very happy with that. They are not this touchy types. So maybe the first child I spoke about is more of physical touch. They like cuddles. And the other child is only acts of receiving gifts. So first find your love language. Next, find the love language of your spouse or anybody close to you and try to fill the tank, the love tank of the other person. And this I can do with friends, I can do with relatives, I can do with anybody. And I don't have to actually physically sit and do also. I can do it even over a phone. Now, when you do that, there is a lot of harmony in the life. Many a times, if you go and ask your wife, you wouldn't have congratulated her for keeping the house clean. You wouldn't have appreciated her for cooking food for you. But that is what she's expecting. Of course, accepted that it's her responsibility that she's doing that. It's your responsibility that you are going and working. All that is fine. But imagine if she says, thank you so much for going out and, working. In spite of this pandemic, you're stepping out of the house, even though you know you're putting your life at risk, is only because you want to be the provider for all of us. And I'm very proud of you for that. If your wife tells you this, are you all happy, men? Does that bring a smile on your face? Similarly, when you go back home and you tell your wife, the food you cooked is so nice. After I have a heavy day and when I come back to home, this is the place I want to come back. And you are the person I want to come back for. I mean, that is what is love about. It is speaking the love language of the opposite person. And once you do that, I have personally, if you ask me personally, I have practiced this in my life. And I have seen amazing results. Amazing results. And today, when I gift anybody for marriage, this is the thing I give, because I feel, the best, the best gift, what you can give to people is the gift which will make them have a better, everlasting relationships. Because today, I'm not talking about Indian families as such, I'm talking about families as such. The basic thread of a family is relationship. If I'm wearing a chain. Now, if you're looking only at the, this chain is a jade, okay? It's a semi-precious stone, it's a jade. But you are only seeing the jade on my neck. What you fail to see is a thread which is holding this jade together, right? So what is that which is more important? Do you think the jade is important or the thread? The thread is important. So this jade will stay only as a chain till the thickness of that thread is there to hold it. The moment I cut the thread, this thing will just fall off. So for any relationship, whether it is Indian family, non-Indian family, or student and teacher relationship, anything for that matter, it is the relationship. You call a student and you shout or scream at them, they will not bother. But you just tell them with tender, loving care, they will understand your intention. They might feel, humiliated when you talk to them or tell about them in front of 100 people, right? So there is a beautiful quote which says, when you want to criticize or condemn anybody, call them separately and do it. But when you want to appreciate, do it open-heartedly. Because when you do it open-heartedly in front of people, it boosts their morale. So then when you really want to tell them something, they will accept that. So when you criticize the act and not the person. Because many a times when you imagine a small child just carrying something and they drop it, you will say, oh, you have this butterfingers, you're so sloppy, or this, you're that. So you are not trying to talk about the act, you're talking about the person. But just say, oh, my child, what happened? It's okay. Are you fine? Next, come, I'll teach you how to hold the vessel. Come. Because you have to not break the confidence of the person, you need to build that person up. Whatever is broken and gone is gone forever, right? So this is how you need to handle people. I think handling situations, handling relationships is the most important aspect of anything in life. And all of us are a part of a community, and we all need to build each other up. There are so many people outside who are criticizing each other. You can start from the top to bottom. You can sit and criticize the entire day. Complain about things. Condemn people. Condemn anything you want. Government. Condemn anything. But what is it you're going to get? Let's be the game changer, right? So when you start to, I'm not saying don't tell anything to the students or anything. I agree. Spare the rod and spoil the child. I accept that, because I have been in the teaching industry for 26 years. But none of my students, I'm a very strict teacher. Let me say that also. Very strict. But I'm a very fun-loving person that all my students know about it. If there is anything for fun, I'm the first person there. I'm sure Dr. Shankaran remembers for Tanuvas's cultural event, I had come as a judge also. I'm so much into fun. I love, cultural arts. I love that so much. So it is not that we are only one nerd into books, no. But then we know how to have a work-life balance, and that is very important. So when they see that when you're talking is with an intent that, they did something wrong and you just want to correct them, that's it. You won the battle. You don't even have to tell them then. They will change by themselves, because all of us have something unique in us. It is very few people who bring out the best in us. So let's be those people who are bringing out the best in each other. And I think, because there are lots of students in this forum, I feel it is very important, we as teachers, we as responsible people on the chair where we sit, we need to lend a ear of listening and give a pat on the back and, being very encouraging to them. And definitely, be the person who is going to lift them and make them feel happy. That is something which we need to do. And I can keep on telling stories because I have lots of students who keep telling this to me. So, it's just that it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. So I think I have answered your question, sir. Next is Dr. Sendil. He says, oh, thank you so much, Sendil Kumar, sir. Excellent presentation, really useful. I have Meghla, a beautiful presentation, man. Every one of us have an inherent personality and reluctant to change. Can you guide us on how to embrace the change and sustain with it? Okay, Meghla. See, change is the only constant thing in this entire universe. You have changed, Meghla. I have changed. See, when we were born, we were only so much, right? We changed, we evolved every day. And we grew from what we were to what we are today. Our tastes change. Our colors change. And so many things in life change. So change is the only constant thing in this universe. Now, how to change? That's a very important thing. You always change from within. If I am going to force a change onto somebody, it will never happen. I always take an example of the egg. Now imagine an egg. If I'm going to hit it from outside, what will I get? If I'm sure if you're a non-vegetarian, you will say a bullseye or a omelette or whatever, right? But if I let this egg evolve and break, you will have a chick coming out. So always the change has to be from within, from you. When you change, you evolve, you grow, you move out of your comfort zone. You have a better clarity of mind to, think beyond. And this could be a very personal question. But however, if I'm going to address a kind of a group where I have to talk about how things work out, then I would say that, a change is something you need to change for the better. So I generally give this homework or, a worksheet for people. I say, what all are your good traits that you're proud of? So I ask people to write on one side. And on the other side, I say, what are the things you think you need to change or fine tune? Many a times, people have said anger. People have said, I immediately respond to something or I react to something. Something happens, I just throw myself there. Some people say that, I carry my baggage. Something has happened some long time back, but I still carry it on my back. I don't let go. So who is going to be at a problem then? It's going to be you only, right? Remember, I showed on the same forum 2-3 days back, I showed your brain could be a dustbin. So you need to constantly clean your brain. And how do you clean your brain? You replace it. All the negativity has to go out for the positivity to come in. And this is going to cause a radical change in you. Right? Even see, 90% of us think about personal hygiene as cleansing of our external body. Right? If you don't brush your teeth, nobody will come close to you. Don't have a bath or wear neat clothes, nobody is going to like you. Basic things, right? But have you thought about cleansing your soul? That is very important. You need to cleanse yourself from within. And detoxing yourself from within is going to be the biggest change. And that is only when you evolve to be a better person. It is very difficult, to generalize change and put it in a forum. But generally, as I told you, I write these. I ask my, clients to write these two things and come back to me, and then we work out on each of those things. And I have seen people evolve dramatically. I mean, I can tell you how things change for people is amazing. People start getting better promotions in office. They have better kind of friends around them. The same friends who never used to like them start liking them. Because it becomes a personality trait. See, that is what happens. So we need to change. Change is a very beautiful thing. You need to evolve. And for that, you need to have people to find your dark spots as a person. Dark spots are things behind you. I will never know. And books are the best game changer. I'll tell you why. See, there are 4 things what you get out of a book. The first thing is when I read a book, forget the book first. If I am going to be the person who says this is what is not good in you, that is very bad, and you have to change this, would you like it? First of all, you will not like it, right? All of us are human beings. We are not going to like somebody correcting us, right? We want to tell me what they know. I'm going through all this. So there'll always be this kind of a judgment, right? Now, what does books do? Why do you think in all my presentation, I put out some book and I keep talking about that? Because the first thing is, there are 4 kinds of people within us, okay? The first person is a person whom I know and person whom all of you know. Let's take the example of Vidya. Now you all know Vidya, you all know me in terms of what is my name, what is my qualification. I know it, you know it, correct? This is not important. Second, things which I know about myself, which you all don't know about me. Could be my secrets. I'm sure all of us have secrets, right? Right? So this is also not important. Third, which I don't know about myself, but you all know about me. Maybe during this lecture, what all my hands went and all, I don't know. I mean, it was so automatic for me, right? What I looked at you or smiled or what I did, I don't know. So you are seeing me, you know about it, but I don't know. That is also not important. So the first three things which I said is not important. What I know about myself and you know about me is not important. What I don't know about myself, but you know about me is not important. What you don't know about me and I know about myself is not important. Then what is important? What I don't know about myself and what you don't know about me. That is important. And how do I find what I don't know about myself? Those are my hidden talents. And that hidden talents will be uncovered when you start reading books. And that is why I made a statement in the beginning. I said, leaders are readers. So when you read books, you are reading them with your voice, or it could be your mind voice. Some people read loudly, some people read in their mind. So it could be your voice reading those lines, and you are only hearing it with your ears, and your brain is processing it. So the moment you start listening to your voice telling you to evolve, you would listen. And that one work, nobody on earth can do that. So these books which I recommend, when I talk to my clients, I ask them to read book. I say, read this book on this page or something like that, I would say. It depends from case to case. I can't generalize anything. But when I do that, and when they read, and after that they would say, ma'am, you know what, I felt so beautiful. And then they will talk to me for about 45 minutes to an hour, experience or, sharing their experience to me. And that is phenomenal, because then you're ready to change. It is very difficult, like I told you the story of the egg. It is very difficult if I have to bring a change in anybody for that matter. The change comes only from within. And books are the best way the change would come. So I guess I answered that. Thank you, Meghla. Any other questions? I would be happy to answer.
I think you answered to everyone's query, Dr. Vidya, and we don't have any more queries. So thank you so much for joining once again from IDP of TANUVAS, and hope whoever has been present here till this 5:32, the people who have been benefited to know certain things about how to help the society during this COVID-19 to keep them happy. So thank you so much once again. Let us meet again in another forum where we are going to talk to our students, probably in the month of August or so. So let me connect with you and then let you know the dates. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shankaran, sir, Dr. John, and Dr. Selvaraj. Thank you. So beautiful to see all of you. Switch on your videos because I can get to see you. And it feels like I'm talking to somebody. So thank you so much for that. And I hope that, this session was also useful to all of you. As I tell that, I love telling stories, and I feel the essence of what we learn through the stories, it really reiterates into our brain much better, much deeper, because it gives us a sense of understanding. Thank you, Dr. Ramesh, for logging in. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Sendil, also So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.